Hello and welcome.
Hi,
Hi,
everyone.
welcome to Astro Insights Live. My name is Jennifer Rose, and above me is my sweet wife, Mel Rose. Welcome here on this Sunday, February 1, which is also a full moon in Leo. Fire, 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 fire.
Hiya!
So I, for one, like the fire. I'm also an air sun sign, so in case you need that encouragement.
Air feeds fire.
So, hello and welcome. If you haven't already, please subscribe to our channel. We are at I think 848 subscribers, and we need 1,000 to be able to monetize and bring all of our content to you for free. So please subscribe if you haven't already and click the notification bell because sometimes we release information that we just do on the fly, and we're going to start going live. We're going to start
We're
going
gone.
live a little bit more often once we get our setup situated and everything. But okay, I'm really happy to be able to join you this morning. I don't know if anybody suffers from any autoimmune diseases, but it seems like this weekend really got me with the rheumatoid. And today it's getting warmer outside, so the fronts are changing. And then, of course, I'm sure we're going to get some snow, but I'm really happy to be here with you today. I don't feel like I look my best, but it's okay. I feel much better than I have in the last 48 hours. So, if you're not familiar with our show, and if this is the first time here, welcome in. This is Astro Insights Live, and what's going to happen is I'm going to turn the show over in a minute to my sweet wife Melrose, and she's going to talk about the astrology for next week. She is our Astrology Today astrologer, and then Mel and I are going to get back together, and we're going to talk about our favorite astrological aspect for this week, and then we will perform a tarot card reading together for the week. So hopefully you will stay here. We usually do the tarot card reading around 30-45 minutes in. And we will also put these back up on our channel during the week. Like tomorrow, we will rerun Astrology Today. So if you haven't been able to catch us live, you'll be able to catch it another time. So thank you so much. And right now, I'm going to turn it over to Mel so she can talk to you about all of the fun astrology that's happening here and how that might, work in your lives.
Thank you, Jennifer. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Astro Insights. I am your host, Mel Rose. Today is Sunday, February 1, 2026. Today is the full moon in Leo, and this week we have Imbolc all week, which is that midpoint between winter solstice and spring equinox. So we are halfway there, friends. This week, also, Uranus is going to station direct in Taurus, so it's going to pull some attention, those changes and that reliability or lack thereof of material resources for us is still playing havoc with us a little bit. And then Mercury is going to move on into Pisces from Aquarius this week. But first of all, friends, let's get a picture of things as they are, because my friends, it is not like it was before, okay? It's not just that it has changed, because everything is changing all the time, of course, but it is that we are undergoing a transformation together. This is about the whole wide world waking up from the confusion and corruption of the last 20 years and saying, we can see clearly now, the fog is lifting. It is so wonderful to be here. Hello, friends. Welcome back to Astro Insights. I'm your host, Mel Rose, and this is our weekly preview of the week ahead in astrology. If you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, please do. We would be so happy to reach 1,000 subscribers today. And if there was ever a time for us to be observing the skies as we watch the events play out here on Earth, this is it, my friends. Here's the context. Neptune just moved into Aries 7 days ago for the first time since the beginning of the United States Civil War. And if you pay attention to national events, you probably can see that we are revisiting those themes in the style of an entirely new generation of people trying to address a very old set of systemic traits that involve separating people by their apparent caste in society and then policing them literally into the ground. Conflict is all around us. We have waited, if you've waited, we have waited too long now to stand up for ourselves and our fellow human beings. And it's time to get fired up and do something to establish a new path that's based on compassion and collective uplift. Here's another piece of context. Fully 5 planets are currently in Aquarius. 4 of them are personal planets, the Sun, Mercury, Mars, and Venus, having just bumped into Pluto for some really intense conversations about what has already changed, what there is no going back on. No doubt we are noticing a fundamental shift in our focus, both individually and as a collective. Systems that are dysfunctional are fully exposed at this time. It's our best opportunity not just to see the mess of corruption we face, but to fight for the principles. It's our opportunity to fight for the principles of community and humanity. For surely, what is in one person's best interest is likely to be in most people's best interest, and what is truly good for humanity will be good for life on Earth in general. So the shift we're undergoing is more than about Neptune entering Aries. It includes Pluto being in Aquarius, but it also includes a similar kind of change for all of the outer planets this year, which in astrological time is like that. From an Aquarian style, big picture outlook, the shift we are currently making is from water and earth over to fire and air element vibrations. Water and earth work together. Think of clay. It's just like mud. With water and earth, you can build things up, material stuff. You can grow a garden or a business or a family or an empire. But also with water and earth, there's always the danger that things will dissolve. There's a danger of flooding. Too much water comes into the picture and solid things start to fall apart. And that is the vibe we have been in lately. That's the old vibe. And we've been here for years and years. Earth and water, clay, mud, wall, flood, repeat. The new vibe, the one that we're just now beginning to experience, is made of different elements entirely. The next several years will bring an influence to our collective experience that is decidedly more air and fire, meaning leaning more into a rational way than an emotional way of being, valuing action more than safety, finding security in being flexible, prepared, and capable of responding to various situations. Fire and air working together, plan, action, transformation, observation, repeat. And the part of that shift we're feeling the most right now is this shift of Neptune into Aries for the next 13 years or so. Aries is the cardinal fire sign, and Neptune is the collective consciousness. Our ideas, our collective ideas about spirituality and consciousness are beginning to shift. We feel less confused, we feel less lost at sea, and collectively more clear. The things that, we're more clear, like, it's like our illusions are being burned away. The things that we're willing to fight for require our active participation right now, friends. Furthermore, the season is changing. This week is Imbolc, which is the Earth's midpoint in space and time between winter solstice and spring equinox. So while the weather has been wildly wintry for a lot of us, we can celebrate with certainty that spring will come, the sun will shine some more, the flowers will bloom, and we will not have to live out the whole year under these dangerously cold conditions. Which brings me to today, the full moon in Leo. This is where we see the culmination of our efforts to show leadership and to take the lead on those things that we consider to be our responsibility. Leo is ruled by the sun, and the sun shines on everyone. The full moon in Leo invites us to show up for this celebration in fiery, glowing, active style. Under this full moon, we seek to radiate warmth, power, and energy, and to celebrate the successes we have found where we took charge of things that were ours to take care of. Of course, taking the lead means first being in charge of yourself, and the moon is about one's private experience. So self-mastery comes in here in terms of having confidence that you know when to act and when to wait, Having that confidence is the work of a lifetime, friends, and it happens through constant, repeated effort. It's not something we get to put aside. Either way, look back on your efforts in recent weeks and celebrate your successes. The full moon is a culmination, after all, a moment of bright clarity to look back on previous weeks and celebrate what you've managed to do, what you've managed to achieve by the grace of the sun and moon. The full moon is also a turning point. With this celebration, we take a break from building in order to relax and reflect. And in just a few days, it'll be time to start clearing out the old and making room for another creative push. Okay, so with all of that context, let's talk about the week ahead. Tomorrow is Monday, February 2nd. Mercury and Chiron are having a supportive conversation in the evening, and a little later, the moon will move on into Virgo. Mercury's talk with Chiron is like giving yourself a pep talk when you know you can do better, or even calling in support or making a plan for improvement. These planets are speaking from Aquarius and Aries, so there's a very progressive vibe here, and I'd say many of us are feeling a desire to act collaboratively for collective improvement, but also, don't be afraid to hit up your collaborators when it's self-improvement that you're seeking. And when the moon moves into Virgo, our personal life focus shifts from Leo themes of vitality and personal power to Virgo themes of holistic order. That's tomorrow night. Tuesday and Wednesday are especially good days for work that involves editing, sorting, weeding the garden, and putting things in their places. If I could see my garden under the snow, I might try to weed it. On Tuesday, Uranus pulls focus by stationing direct at the end of Taurus, where it has been for several years. Now, Uranus is our agent of seemingly erratic change. You just never know what's going to happen. And it's been traveling in Taurus, our sign for evident shake-ups at different times and for different reasons in our ability to access the regular things we need to feel as though we have physical and material stability. Deliveries were made that were never ordered, or items were ordered that were never delivered, and a million changes and delays that played a serious role in our lives over the past several years, right down to the fluctuation and rising prices for food and other necessities that we experience today. A lot has truly changed and been in fluctuation where it comes to our ability to access resources since 2018. And also concerning just where our stuff comes from and how we get it. And I expect that subject to get some attention this week as well, since Uranus is stationary and grabbing our attention for its last several weeks in Taurus. In April, it's going to move on into Gemini finally. Then on Wednesday, the 4th, Venus and Chiron have a supportive conversation. But much like the talk Mercury had with Chiron on Monday, this vibration is more about receptiveness. How do we make ourselves open to solving a problem or healing a wound? To me, this is sort of like if you're sick and you know you need to rest. The receptive thing then is to lay down and take the rest while you need it, rather than pretending you don't need it and pushing through a day of being miserable and unrested. So especially around Wednesday, if you're feeling like you need to do something to solve a problem, to get the rest, to get the healing that you need, to mend the fences that you need, definitely be open to the thing that you know will help. Appropriately, late on Wednesday night, the moon will move into Libra, which is ruled by Venus, and that's another invitation to be open and receptive. Our personal life focus shifts to partnerships in our lives, and really whether we're giving as good as we get. So we're examining the balance in those relationships and doing what we can to bring it back into balance where it isn't. On Thursday, the 5th, Mercury strikes a square to Uranus. It's a bump in the road, friends. The materials you wanted are not available when you want them. Uranus is stationary, remember, so it's a little more powerful than usual. You may find yourself asking for help when you realize you can't pull something together on your own. And the sun makes an adjustment to Jupiter on Thursday as well. This is us in our public-facing lives, work, social, and civic, that where we're really Aquarius influenced right now, trying to keep the big picture in mind as we go about our individual efforts in the world. Jupiter in Cancer is making it rain abundantly somewhere, friends. Can we adjust our plan to include somehow appreciating the treasure or the blessing on offer? With those two things happening together, it's sort of like you can't always get what you want, but you can get something that is good. So keep your eyes open for a greater blessing, or just something that's going to work instead of the thing that you thought you could get your hands on. And then on Friday, Mercury moves on into Pisces. Mercury is not at its best in Pisces. We can find it a challenge to say what we mean. I have Mercury in Pisces in my personal chart, so I'm speaking a little bit personally here. I can find it a challenge to say what I mean or understand fully even what I want to say. Sometimes I don't even know what I think until it comes out of my mouth. It's not as easy to make plans because of indirect communications, and it's a little like a Mercury retrograde in that I would offer guidance for us all to make sure that we know where we're going before we head out. Even if that means having conversations that are a little uncomfortable, okay? Just ask the question. If you don't know the answer, hey, where are we going? Exactly what are we doing here? What are your intentions with me? Just make sure you have that clarity before you get into situations, okay? The moon will move on into Scorpio on Saturday the 7th, and our personal life focus then turns within. We take Saturday, Sunday, and Monday to do our own personal authenticity check. When we give of ourselves, are we doing it for the right reason? Would we feel ashamed if we had to admit our base motivation? Is there anything really wrong with being alone? These are the kind of questions we ask ourselves when the moon is in Scorpio, and they're appropriate. The deep dive, the soul searching, that's what it's all about. And then on Sunday, Venus is going to strike the same square to Uranus that Mercury did on Friday. More mix-ups and confusion about the availability of material resources. You can't always get what you want, like I said, but if you try sometimes. Okay, friends, that's the astrology for the week. Thank you so much for joining me today to get that. And I'm just going to vamp a little bit here while Jennifer comes back to us so that we can talk about our favorite aspects of the week. It's not as active this week as it has been in past weeks, so it feels just a little bit like a break, but it does still feel pretty active, and it feels like we might have some stop and go some stop and go energy here with this Uranus stationing direct, and these planets, these other planets doing things with Uranus. What do you think, Jennifer?
I don't know. I just feel like there's a lot going on. I was going to ask you, I'm trying to figure out. So I would actually like for you to lead on your favorite aspect.
Oh, you want me to lead with my favorite aspect of the week?
Yeah, and then maybe if I'm honest, I don't know all of the aspects at play here. I'm stuck on I'm stuck on trying to get my camera right, first of all. And I'm stuck on the Aries, the Pisces and Aries, Saturn, Pisces.
Neptune moving into Aries.
Yeah, Neptune and Aries. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, well, I'll go ahead and say that my favorite one this week is Venus and Chiron having this supportive conversation. It's a sextile conversation, so they're really cooperative. And, Mercury and Chiron are having a similar conversation this week. So it's definitely like a Chiron kind of week where we're looking to, the wounds we're trying to heal from. Many of us still trying to heal from things that we experienced when we were children, even. But the wounds we're trying to heal from, but also just the problems we're trying to solve for ourselves and in our lives. In our partnerships, where Venus is included, and in our resourcefulness, our ability to get what we need. This is an opportunity to innovate a way to solve a problem, and that innovation invites you to be open and receptive. That invites you to ask for help if you need it. The Venus. Doing Venus, like being Venusian, is not all that simple. for a lot of us. Like I'm an Aries sun, so to me, the best way to get something is to ask for it, to go directly after it and say, this is what I want. I'm going to grab that. But Venusian is more of an asking for it and then allowing it to come to you. And I don't think that a lot of us are all as receptive as we could be when it comes to those Venusian circumstances. So I love this Venus and Chiron because it's just an opportunity to say, yes, I think I know what would help me right now. A tall glass of water, a nap, a conversation with this person, and then just being receptive to having that happen, rather than resisting it because you have so much else to do.
Right. Right. So in that respect, then I'm going to have to go with the Mercury and Pisces, because after we have this healing sitch with Mercury and Chiron, then maybe it is that we will understand or have the bravery to ask or to speak about those things. Like, I don't know why it would be like, as you've been kind of waiting on me. Oh, you've been kind of waiting on me hand and foot here this weekend. I'm like, whoa, what happened here? Waiting on me hand and foot this weekend, and it's not very easy for me to ask for help. Right down to a glass of water, or can you move my sock that's right here within reach from me, because I really can't do it without an immense amount of pain. And Mercury and Pisces, hopefully, like if we can get some healing there with Mercury and Chiron, I think a lot of us, are going to figure out how, and I know that I'm personally working on how to take my aggressive speech to more of a, what is the other word?
Receptive.
Huh?
Receptive?
No, not receptive.
Oh, assertive. You're looking for aggressive to
Assertive.
assertive.
Thank you.
Yes.
To more assertive speech. And it doesn't mean that you can't have emotion behind it. It's just a little bit more grounded. And I don't even know, I haven't mastered that quite yet. And maybe I will this week. Mercury in Pisces says that we can, and Mercury and Chiron says, let me help you through that. And let me say, there's been a lot of us that have been told not to say anything when we're emotional or when we're mad, or like to not show anything, or to just not say anything. Yeah, that happens all the time. Just not saying anything.
Yeah.
And hopefully that will heal too. Like when we see something, even if it ignites some kind of a passion in us, angry or not, we can talk about it.
Yes.
That is what the healing is we can talk about it in a way that won't be off-putting, or, just, I don't know how to exactly say it, but I know that you and your Mercury and Pisces, my love. But I think that this might be a healing week for you. So maybe it is. I also know that you're not a person that likes to ask for help. And you don't like to ask for support, which, I understand that too. So maybe it is that you will, be able to ask for more support, or know how to ask for support, or know when to ask for that support. Like all those things are really difficult to do sometimes.
Truly.
And I want to say that goes for resources too. So hopefully it is that if there's people out there struggling in silence, that people are not eating or don't have things that they need to be safe in their own home, hopefully that means if they haven't been able to talk about that or ask for help or to seek out some kind of answers, hopefully maybe this week will be the week that you will, throw all caution to the wind and say, you know what, I've got to take care of this once and for all. I have to really take care of this before it gets too big. And in taking care of that, that means you have to make some kind of admittance to someone else. Like, hey, I've got this thing going on in my house, and it's quite embarrassing because I haven't taken care of it, or I didn't notice it, whatever it is. Hopefully we'll still be able to get through those words in order to take care of ourselves.
Yes.
And to be able to open our mouths to begin with, just like, oh, I need some help. I could use a hug, or, a drink of water or something to eat, So I look for a lot of people to be able to speak freely this week.
And for that matter, in asking for help, we're also just sort of hopefully a little more willing to share the resources that we have that do help. I want to say it because it came up with with what Jennifer was saying. If you're going without something that you need, if there's something that you know you should ask for, because then you should do it, because going without things that you need isn't just going without, like, making do. That's getting behind. That's helping you. That's making you get behind. It's going to make things harder for you down the road. So if you're going without something that you need, please do ask for it.
Yes, and it's kind of like, if you've got a little drip, it can turn into a flood really quickly. And if that little drip's been happening for a long time, how long will it take before it's a flood?
And then with this strong, go ahead.
No, I go ahead.
And then with this strong Aquarian vibration, it's very much not just about me. It's about my fellow human beings, the people who are around me, especially in my community, beyond just my nuclear family unit, whatever that looks like for me. But everybody around me, like, needs some kind of support as well. And that doesn't mean I should go out there, like, trying to give of myself completely and not receive any support and, go push my support on other people. But just where I see it is needed, I can show up, I can offer support. I can give support where it is accepted.
Yes, I agree. I think this will be a productive week. I do believe that we'll be able to accomplish much this week. I don't know why, but well, especially if we can get with our communication skills. Mercury, if we can get with the Mercury, yeah.
I mean, the good news is that Mercury is going to go into Pisces, and it's answering to Jupiter, which is in Cancer and doing very well. And then Mercury in Pisces is also answering to Neptune and Aries. So, and Neptune and Aries, that might not be Neptune's favorite place to be, but it is definitely a place of inspired action, a place where we're going to actually start creating things in a new way. So that's really positive.
I love that. I do love that. I mean, the time that we're living in, we're going to see, again, another creative renaissance of sorts. And I'm here for it. I hope to be part of it. Right now, we're playing our part in history, and we're going along with our videos. And thank you so much for being here with us today. And today is a full moon in Leo. And, the little that I've read, because I've been otherwise occupied, about this full moon is about really, like every full moon, it's about getting rid of the things that no longer serve you. But apparently the energy of this full moon is just something a little bit more extra, it's a little bit more powerful. And fiery,
Leo is leadership, that's where the power is at,
Yeah. Our heart, it's what we believe, it's our loyalty, it's like how we respect and receive respect. It's really taking a look at all of those things, and if they don't work for us, we got to get rid of them. And that includes respecting ourselves. Not only just looking at how other people respect us or what we want to be respected for, how we act, but just respecting ourselves and understanding, the way that we speak about ourselves and the way that we talk about ourselves is very important in the way that we shape the way other people see us, and it also reshapes and continues to shape the way that we see ourselves. So speak from the heart this week. If you're not used to speaking from the heart, I bet you start learning slowly, creepily, how to speak from the heart, whatever that means for you. But this full moon,
sometimes if I'm wanting to speak from the heart and I don't know exactly what I should say, because like I said, I don't always know what I think until it comes out of my mouth. Right. Sometimes I start with the words, I feel, and then I follow that up with something, sincere about what I feel, and that helps me speak from the heart and
I
helps sort
like
of
that.
get my point across to other people as well.
Right. Yeah, I like that. I like that. And, not for nothing, standing up for your values, your own personal values, and what you think right now is really important. Um, Being able to have conversations with other people that don't agree with you or may not like the thing that you love, it's okay. And we're just going to figure that out. We're going to
Yeah.
have a series of quote unquote difficult or strained conversations that we're not used to normally having. But
Mhm.
if we can get rid of this fear and we can get rid of these ideas about other people, that everybody like totally is out to get you for whatever reason or another. I mean, all of us are feeling that way, and with reason. Like, I'm a queer person in the world, and like, I don't know who they're coming for next, but what I'm seeing out there in the great blue yonder outside of my home is not anything cool or conducive to me wanting to be out there. But we are going to figure out how to get out there, how to be out there, how we can, put our best foot forward and also be able to talk about what's important to us without, worrying about what other people are saying and having that conversation. So the moon and
Talk
Leo is
about
going to give us a lot of courage.
talk about compassion, talk about connection, and talk about what is good for everyone, what would be easiest for everyone involved, because really Mercury and Pisces wants to smooth it out, wants to close out things that have been hard and allow us to relax and reflect, to talk about it, talk it over before we get into a new cycle.
Yes. Yes, 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 yes. So, there was one thing that I wanted to say that I did this weekend. I'm really infamous for being on Facebook, and I do go and I look for people to kind of have hard conversations with people that I know don't agree with me with idiotic memes or something like that. And sometimes I'm not so nice, and I'm trying to work on that. But um, lately, I guess last week there's been a protest. Businesses have shut down in lieu of you know, operating in support of getting ice out of Minneapolis and all of our cities, really. And I saw on Northwest Arkansas, where we used to live, a page where a friend of mine runs some Facebook pages, and she opted to put all of the businesses that were closing and or giving proceeds to immigrant-led organizations down there in Northwest Arkansas. And like on every single one of these posts, there were just horrible comments and people that had never been into these businesses and had never thought once to darken the doors of these businesses. And some of them were small bookstores, coffee shops, etc. And so normally I would get on there and I would just kind of argue with those people as to why they think the way that they think. But this time I decided to go on there, and I love books. We're in and out of owning bookstores and running bookstores, and I thought I'll go on all the bookstore comments and just ask these people who say they're never going to go there, like, hey, what's the last book you read? And hey, what's the last book that you really liked? What would you recommend? And in doing so, I found more people who were reading books and wanted to share about what they were reading, and just completely and totally forgot about what we were doing on that post. So what we did was we boosted the algorithm with like cogent material, with material that is about a bookstore. And then at the end, I went and I put the bookstore's website. I posted it there and like, hey, you know what? They've got this book here too, and it's only this much, or whatever.
Mhm.
Like I would recommend a book, and then I would find it on the site and say, hey, it's only X amount on this. But in doing so, I found a lot of people that I don't agree with, but we can talk about books. We did end up talking about books and other things on these posts where people were upset and angry just that this place had closed. And yet, we still found common interest. And I was still trying to find that common interest in that store to let them know, like, hey, we in this store still have a common interest, and we can act on our own behalf and do these things. And it doesn't mean we have to, boycott. And to me, you can't boycott a place that you haven't already gone into. I think it's ridiculous to say, I'm never going to go in there. Okay, that's money that's never been in there before.
That's like my lifelong boycott on liver.
Right. Like, to me, I just don't think that you can boycott something that you've never
Right.
been to. Like, I'm going to take all of my money from this entity, but you've never put any in it, like,
I'm never
so,
spending any money with that yacht company.
right. And I'm really hard pressed unless it's a specific Christian bookstore, like, to find where you're going to go into a bookstore that just is so political that you just talk about the politics and not the books. You know what I mean? It just doesn't happen. So, I encourage you to just try and find a way to have those conversations. Like, for me, I'm scared to death to have conversations with people in person. Like, people draw guns on people nowadays when they don't agree. They shoot people when they don't agree. There's a stand your ground law that says, because I'm scary to people just because who I am in the world, that they can shoot me. Like, so I'm like tippy-toeing in by just going into the comments on Facebook and turning them around into something that I would also make negative. Okay. And it's something more positive, and it's something that I know, like the books that I'm reading right now, or the books that I'd like to read, or the books that they have.
Well, that speaks a
So
little bit
that's
to
my
that.
stepping stone.
And that speaks a little bit to that Chiron action that's happening this week, too. Just like, let's find a different way. You know what it reminds me of? My very favorite movie, Everything Everywhere All at Once, because in the end, it's about, learning to turn the situation around, learning to fight without hurting anybody, learning to stand up for what you believe and make things right, while also hopefully making things better for the people around you, even the people who don't think what you're doing will work, right? It's supposed to be about everybody's uplift. We don't knock people down in order for people to get uplifted. We uplift everyone.
Aquarius. Those are the times that we're living in, and we're all doing a bunch of healing, and I'm here for it.
So should we do a card reading now?
Yes, I'm going to switch over to the tarot card reading. I just thought it was important to share what I done, because I'm totally that person that will start shit with people online. You can't get in there and say mean, horrible shit, like really horrible, terrible shit about somebody and let me see it usually. And I'm really trying hard not to be that person online. I'm not that person in real life. Now, if I see, like somebody beating on somebody, of course I'm getting involved. I mean, of course I'm getting involved in things in real world, because, but that's just it's not the truth on social media. And it's just really ignorant on my behalf. It really shows how clearly out of my freaking mind I've gotten over these last years with damn social media. So I'm switching over. We're going to do a tarot card reading. Tarot card reading of the week. How I like to do this is I just like to draw cards and see what they might mean. Maybe Mel can bring some astrology into the tarot card readings as well. Because I just do my own thing with the tarot, okay? All right. And then I'm going to have to figure out how to put these cards up since I'm sitting pretty in my recliner this week doing this. The Hanged Man. The Hanged One is like what I like to say. So, as far as what we were just talking about, looking at stuff from a different perspective, taking another approach, learning another way, seeing how other people do it, looking back at the way that you're doing it, and if it's wrong, like fixing it, or just being able to look back at it and be like, oh, kind of like my video a few weeks ago, like, oh, I was not getting those cues very well. I did not make it very well. But, like the Hang One gives us an opportunity to look at things from a whole different perspective and to see things from other people's perspective. It's about taking a pause. It's about, putting your own life in, just putting, to me, it's about putting my ideas to a stop and stopping and listening for a minute instead of talking in this situation. As far as astrology goes, Mel, or whatever you see when you see the Hanged One here, what comes to your mind?
That brings me right back to what I was talking about with Venus and Chiron and that receptiveness, sort of like we get stuck in a place. The Hanged One is like, oh, you got hung up somewhere, you got stuck in a place. And rather than resisting it and trying to make the progress you thought you were making, it really just pays to relax and be receptive to noticing what's going on around you. It's going to help inform your plan down the road. Wherever you are forced to pause, you're sitting at a stoplight, you're waiting for the information to come through, you're waiting for the baby to come, whatever it is that you're waiting for, you can relax into waiting and just be receptive to noticing what's going on around you, because it's going to help with the things that you're trying to create or mend or heal at this time.
Definitely some enlightenment, you can see around the head of this person that's upside down, that, that bright yellow light, that golden light, coming at this from a soul place rather than an ego, coming at everything with, like when you're open and you're receptive to new ideas, it's not your mind, it's your heart, it's your body, it's your soul. It's really that thing that makes us tick,
Yeah.
It's getting right down there to brass tacks, and also being grounded and throwing yourself over a limb.
I also want to say that this comes to giving yourself unstructured time, which is something I've been talking a lot about lately. That card actually reflects an old myth about Odin, the god of the Norse gods, and how he hung from a tree and gained the enlightenment of knowing everything for all time. And so, it's sort of like he got hung up, but he gained this enlightenment. And what was I just saying? Oh my goodness. It was not receptiveness. What else was I talking about?
Enlightenment.
I don't know. It's okay.
Well, it did make me think of, the mythology of Chiron.
Yes.
Also, like the hanged one is hanging upside down, and Chiron is literally just out there being hurt over and over and over again, right?
Right. Chiron is a healer and a warrior, but he can't heal himself, and he can't fight as long as he can't heal himself.
Right. Yeah. And so, yes, just know that when you're throwing yourself out there, come at it from an angle that's different than before. And especially we've got to start leaving our egos at the door, and that judgment at the door. And in order to really hear the other people that are talking to us, we got to turn it upside down. We got to turn it on its head. We got to do something differently. And that means that starts with us. That means how we look and see and feel things. We just have to be so receptive on a soul level, in order to just really transform the way that we want to, and to listen to people in the way that they, to me, should be.
Yeah.
Just seeing things a little bit differently, please use your discernment right now. AI is really just all over the place right now, and it's wreaking havoc, and it's confusing everything. And if you're on social media at all, you'll see how it is. And we're trying our best to not use AI, but even if you use Google, it's AI now. Google was the original AI, so it doesn't matter. Like, if you don't use anything, I'll go back to the dictionary. I'm fine. So the first card is the Hangman for this week. Getting to your bare soul, looking at things from a different perspective. Putting yourself out there on a limb. And the second card that I've drawn is, gosh, did I draw this last week too? I did. I think it was the Knight of Wands and the Three of Wands.
I think it was.
I'm ready to go. I'm always ready to go. And it doesn't mean that I'm always ready to go without my ego, though. And with a go-go card, the Knight of Wands, I also like to ask the Knight of Wands, like, where are you going, Sir Knight? Like, what is happening, and why are you going so fastly? And, I think the Knight of Wands is just seeing the opportunity and is no longer hesitating to wait to go. And the Knight of Wands is saying, it's time to go.
Very actively wanting to help, very actively wanting to get in there and make things right. Right.
So if this is your time to join a gym membership, your time to join a community activist group, your time to, I don't No, join your friends for lunch every now and then instead of
Serve on a
like just
jury,
laying
like
low.
whatever you're called to do to help, get in
Yes.
there.
Yes, and I also think it's being called to take care of business, like to actually put some action behind those anxious thoughts that we're having, some action behind that to-do list that we've had in our cars, in our phones, on our refrigerators, wherever it is that you've got your to-do list, which I know it's in your brain and it's the forefront of your brain, and it's what's keeping you from getting through the other list to get to it. All right. So where is the Nine of Wands going, though? Where is the Nine of Wands going? Like this.
Ooh.
So the Nine of Wands is really kind of moving towards something a little bit more bougie for themselves. I keep noticing all the yellows on the cards, and I think that this week is going to be a really dynamic week, a golden week. The price of gold is way up. If you've got some, sell it. Price of silver way up. If you've got some, sell it. I think also we're kind of just figuring out how it is that we want to live and the ways that we want to live, and we're just going to re-up our game. We're trying to figure out how it is and what we need to do in order to move toward that direction. Like, I know that I want nice clothes, like I know that I really want to find a garden or a farm or someone to get my vegetables from next year. Like it's planning, it's thinking about those things. It's about taking care of our health and also, our finances, saving some back, knowing what we have so that way we don't overspend. And also just kind of knowing our worth. And that means for me is asking for what I'm worth in my work and in my daily life, and not giving it any extra thought. So if you work for yourself, it's time to take yourself real serious and to show it with how much you charge for your services.
Duly noted.
Good.
Duly noted. Massage prices are going up today.
Mercury and Pisces. I mean, we're gonna Chiron out with Mercury, and then we got Mercury and Pisces on Friday. It's time to get over that emotional abuse that you suffered, by someone telling you that you did a shitty job, when you were in a bad mood or something. Like those things that were actually just meant to help you get further. We're going to take them and we're going to actually use them.
Yeah. If you're struggling with self-doubt at all, which we all do, this is a good sign to stop that and take a moment and just recognize what it is that you have made, what you have done, what you have completed, what you've created and built for yourself. This is a card that's about really being able to reap the benefits of the work that you've done, of the care that you've shown, the effort that you've put into something. So if you're doubting yourself, just go lean on the stuff that you already have completed, because that'll show you what you're capable of.
Right. And whatever it is that you have in abundance, it's enough. And it's still, I don't know. Yeah, I think there's just a different abundance that we're collecting for ourselves now. And it's time that we go big or go home, go big for ourselves, be our number one cheerleader, be our own number one cheerleader, because we want to live the life that we want to live. And if this is the life that you're wanting to live, if this is the life that you're wanting to sustain, we just got to keep at it and continue to look at it from different perspectives, all things. There's just not one right way. There's not one right way. I'm sorry to tell you. So sorry to say. Sometimes it is all the time. There's no one right way.
Right. There is no one right way.
Just I want to end this by saying, if you are creating your own profession and look, you don't have to have a certificate, a document. You don't have to have a guru. You don't have to have anybody that says you know your shit except for you. You tell people how you know your shit. You show people how you know your shit. You show people what your worth is nowadays. Okay. You don't let anybody else hold you back. All right. especially those that might hold purse strings. Don't let banks or money or people that have more resources than you keep you from doing that which you want to do, because things change so quickly. And the people that have all those resources might find themselves without them, or those resources might just dry up or not become available. And then the thing that you're doing that's so, that you feel like is not creative enough, all of a sudden is the most creative thing out there. And that's for everybody who has imposter syndrome. But listen, you don't have to have a degree to be an expert in something. All right.
This is true.
You make yourself an expert. And if it's what you've been doing, if it's your experience, if it's your job, you're the expert in you and what you're doing. Don't let anybody else tell you differently. And don't let anybody stop you from doing it. Period. There's my psychic bladder.
Okay, friends, that is Astro Insights for the week. Thank you so much for joining us. We are so appreciative of you all. And if you have not subscribed to the channel yet, please do so, because it'd be so good to get to 1,000 subscribers this week. Please, please, my friends, so that we can continue to come to you like this for free, and to add more and better quality content as well. So thank you so much for being here. Thanks for checking in on your regular current astrology and your weekly tarot card reading.
Yes. Thank you so much for joining us. And we will be back next week for Astro Insights Live at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. And look for us throughout the week to be posting some new content. And we really, really appreciate you showing up for us like you do, and subscribing and just being your wonderful selves. So thank you so much. And also, we do private tarot card readings. We can do it video if you're local here in Kansas City, Missouri. We can meet you within reason. So, give us a message if you would like to have a reading done by Mel or I, or both of us. Yeah. All right. Thank you so much
love,
for
friends.
joining.